All right, let's get into how to properly plug in your generator. Now, one of the first steps is you have to make sure you properly sized your generator, and we do have a video to aid you in that. Real quickly though, just as a baseline, if you have a 30 amp power cord, you'll want at least 3,500 watts. And if you have 50 amp, you'll want at least 6,000 watt generator. And we simply get to that by using Ohm's law. We have 50 amps, we're gonna multiply that by 120 volts, that gives us our 6,000. And of course we did the 30 amps times 120, which gives you 3,600 watts for your 30 amp unit. Now, this one I have next to me is actually only a 2,500 watt generator, and to be quite honest, that would be undersized to run most RVs, but seeing as how I only need it to turn on lights in an RV for video, that's all I really need. A couple last things I want to touch on before we get into actually plugging the generator in. One is make sure you check with the campgrounds you plan on staying at to see if they actually allow portable generators, as not all campgrounds do. And if they do, make sure you check the maximum decibel level and that your portable generator fits into it. Generally, you want to stay somewhere between 50 to 70 decibels when we talk about generators, which is one of the big reasons inverter generators are so common. Also, because we will be working with fuel and carbon monoxide, we also want to make sure that you are following all safety rules when hooking up a generator. If you need some help with that, I will drop a link to an article in the description below. Before we plug in the generator, you need to make sure you have proper placement. Now, because it is going to be expelling hot air, hot gas, we want to make sure that you're not going to start a fire. So if it's possible to put it on a concrete pad, certainly do that. I would try to stay away from setting it on grass and especially highly flammable items like a pile of pine needles. Also, you want the exhaust port facing away from your RV, as you don't want a bunch of carbon monoxide coming back in windows. And along with that, you want to make sure that you have 5 foot of airspace all the way around. One, to help make sure that you are safe and others are safe, but also it needs to be able to draw in some air to function properly. Along with that, always check your owner's manual, folks. Some generators may require more space, and you want to make sure that you are following all safety protocol when running a generator. Next up, you want to make sure that you have proper oil levels so that you're not going to burn up your generator or shorten its life, and also that you have plenty of fuel so it doesn't turn off in the middle of operating and you have to go for a fuel run. Your fuel can be, of course, a couple different sources depending on your generator. This one is gasoline. You may have a propane generator, so make sure you're checking that fuel source. And then for oil, it can be hidden in a couple different places. If you're not sure, again, consult your owner's manual. You'll see for this particular one, when I take that side panel off, my dipstick is located right there, which will allow me to check it. Once you have validated that those are where they need to be and they are at the proper levels, then you actually want to shut off all the appliances in your RV. The reason being is when we do plug into the generator, if everything's running, that can be a huge load on the generator, which again can be a bad thing for it and shorten the overall life. You want it to be a little bit more slow progressive load, so if all the appliances are off, you can turn them on one by one and allow that to happen. Let's get into starting the generator. Now, every generator is going to be a little bit different. So once again, you'll want to consult your owner's manual for the exact procedure of yours, but I will show you how to start this Champion 2,500 watt inverter right here. For this particular unit, the first 2 steps are actually exactly what we already covered, and that is to check and make sure you have sufficient oil in the generator as well as enough fuel. The next step will be to open up the vent on the gas cap, and then open up the fuel valve here, followed by opening up our choke. We'll then take the crank handle, give it a pull, close the choke so that it runs. Just like that, we're good to go. You'll see once again the exhaust is pointed away from the RV, and although you can obviously tell a generator is running, this is an inverter generator, which is why you can actually hear me talk even though I'm standing right next to it. Also, you want to let this run for 5 minutes before you plug it into the RV or put any kind of load on it. If you do it before that, it can actually cause a lot of harm to your generator, so give it that 5 minutes before you plug anything in. Also, I recommend using a surge guard or surge protector right before you plug the unit in. You can just plug this right into the generator itself. That'll help protect your electronics in case there's anything that happens to the generator, you get any spikes or anything of that nature. Now, this one I have to put a step down on it. You'll see it's built for 30 amp as it should be. I have to put this little 15 on there because again, this is only a 2,500 watt. But as I said, all I use it for is to turn on lights in an RV. So I'll simply plug that in, After 5 minutes, I'll plug my RV in right here and we'll be good to go. With the generator running and the RV plugged in, you are good to go. Just bear in mind some energy consumption. If you're running your air conditioner, your microwave, and a hairdryer at the same time, it may overload the generator. Also, if it does run out of fuel, refueling is pretty simple. You simply want to wait like 5 to 10 minutes or so for the generator to cool down before you begin the refueling process. When you're done and you're ready to disconnect the generator, you'll first want to turn off all appliances in the RV to minimize the load on that generator. Then you'll want to unplug the RV from the generator and then follow your owner's manual to turn it off. Generally, it's one of two things or a combination of both, which is either turning off the on-off switch, turning off the fuel valve, or again, possibly both. And that's all there is to it, folks. Hopefully this video helped you understand how to hook up and run your generator. If you like this video, then simply hit the like button. If you think that you know someone that could use some of this information, please share this video. And if you want to see more how-to and troubleshooting tips in the future, be sure to subscribe. Thanks again for watching, folks. I'm Ian Baker, and until next time, we'll see you later.